Good morning. I'm your host, Randy Clark, and welcome to Randy's Corner. We're in here on a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's beautiful outside, and I got a beautiful teacher with me this morning. I'd like to welcome my guest. This is Ty Alexander Fawcett.
Good
Is
morning.
it okay if I say Coach Fawcett's wife?
You can.
Of the Big
Yes,
Comer
sir.
Tigers. She
Yes.
is a big part of the Comer Nation. And I don't want to embarrass you, but you're also Teacher of the Year,
I was.
which
Am.
is in honor of your peers, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ty, tell us a little bit of something about yourself and your family.
Okay. I was born and raised here in Sylacauga. I went to B.B. Comer. I graduated from Comer in 2001 and went to
Okay.
UAB.
Okay,
And then came back and started teaching in Talladega County, Winneboro. And that's where I met the Coach Fawcett.
okay,
And we got married, and then I've been teaching for 18 years, and then I came back here to Comer 6 years ago.
right,
So kind of came full circle.
right. The best move y'all ever
The
made.
best move we ever made, yes,
You know,
sir.
I was kind of curious how you met Coach Fawcett, but
Yeah.
I'm glad you told
He would,
that.
I tell everybody he wouldn't leave me alone. And Winneboro,
Well, I can't blame him.
you know,
Yeah.
I hear you.
And children?
We have two sons. Max is 14 and Ben is 13.
Okay.
And they go to Comer as well. One is in the 9th grade and one is in the 7th grade.
And baseball's wide open
Baseball,
right
nonstop.
Right.
We have a game every day this week.
now. I'm sure them boys keep some kind of ball in their hand all the
They
time.
do
don't they?
nonstop, all
Yeah.
the time. It is year round.
But that's a good thing.
It is. Keep them busy.
That's right. Keeps them busy. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can I also mention your parents?
By all means.
I love them.
They're good people.
Yes, yes.
do.
Would you mention who they are?
Okay, so my dad is Roger Alexander.
Okay.
He went to Childersburg, but my mom is Susan Mayfield Alexander, and she graduated from Comer in 75, 4.
Okay.
You know, she's going to get me for not knowing, but
That's
you know,
okay.
but she is still very active, and they live.
Oh, they are the Comer
They
Nation.
are, and
Yes.
they show up and they help and they do. She does, you know, she just all the events. She's
Right,
there, so
right.
she's very
you know,
supportive.
I've been over there at the field house and did several interviews with Coach Fawcett, and his parents are always
Absolutely,
around too.
we are. And what's funny is we all kind of live in the same area too. So like his parents are right here, then we're back here in the back, and then my parents are down at the end of the road. And some people are like, "What?" But
Yeah.
it works out for us
It
because
works
we're all
out good,
yeah, we're
don't
all
it?
really close.
Yeah.
It's a good situation.
Okay, Ty, I did a little research on you.
Love that.
Yes. We'll talk about Teacher of the Year at the end of the
Okay.
show. But right now, what made you want to become a teacher?
It's a funny story.
Okay.
You're gonna get a laugh.
Okay.
I was in the 3rd grade, and my teacher was Miss Sanders, and great teacher, amazing teacher. And I always like envied her. I was like, oh, look at her. She gets to walk around with a styrofoam cup full of sweet tea from the lunchroom, and like I would grade her papers, and I would rub her shoulder and her hair and all this stuff. And I was like, I want to be Miss Sanders.
Right.
And grew up, and I never deterred. Like that was it. That was it for me. I knew I wanted, and as I got older, I figured out what I wanted to teach. But anyway, my dad was like, be a nurse. Be a nurse. They make good money. And I was like, no, I want to be a teacher. So I go and I get my teaching degree, and then I get in the profession. And I'm gonna tell you now, I can buy a styrofoam cup from the Dollar General. Nobody is touching my hair or my neck. And I do not like grading papers.
Right.
So, you know, but it worked out. I
Right.
enjoy my job, but she inspired me. She
Right.
really did. And I love her, and I see her every now and again. So,
You know, and I know you're not in it for the money.
not at all.
You're in it because of the love of teaching.
Absolutely.
And
You
your
have to be.
students love you for it.
I'm glad, and I love what I do. I love the kids, because you're right. It's not about the money.
Right.
It's not about the time off, contrary to what people, you know, like to
Right.
say. Oh, and even, you know, I hear a lot of, well, you chose this profession. Well, it's very different
Yes.
now than it was when I first
Right.
started, and when, you know, what we know back when we were in
Right.
school. It's a lot more difficult. There's a lot more struggles, but it's worth it.
Right.
The kids make it worth it.
That's one of the questions I'm going to ask you here in a few minutes.
I can't wait.
Okay, now, what subject do you teach at Baby Corner?
I teach 4 kind of different ones. I teach AP Literature, so that's 12th grade. I teach English 12 standard, and then Advanced English 10 and Standard English 10.
No wonder you're so busy.
I'm very busy.
Yes. Okay, now, we're going to talk about the struggles of teaching here in a minute, but
Okay.
right now what I want to talk about, what gives you the most joy in teaching?
I feel like the thing that I value the most and I get the most joy out of with teaching is seeing my kids be successful, and like building those relationships and seeing them come back to me and be like, thank you, Ms. Fawcett,
Right.
for fill in the blank.
Right.
You know, whether it be, helping them, go to college and be okay, or go into the real world and be a good person.
Right.
That makes that makes me happy.
That makes you feel like you did some
I
good.
did, because it's not, again, like you said earlier, it's not about the money.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about the kids.
Right.
And I figured that out more as I age and get older in this profession. It's the relationships with the kids and seeing them be successful.
Right.
I do.
Yes. To just hear them talk about where they're at now, when you've known them since they was knee high.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Watching
that
them
brings
grow.
joy. Now,
Yes, it really does.
with that being said, what are some of the struggles facing teachers today? Not just you, but all
But in
teachers.
general,
Yes.
I think a lot of the struggle is burnout. I do know that burnout is big because, and it's not like, you and I were talking earlier, it's not even just teachers, it's nurses, it's just the burnout. It is the constant go. It is, with me in particular, teaching, I have the 4 preps, and then I have to grade papers, which there's no time. I don't grade papers during class.
Right.
So the only time that I can do it is on my time after school or on the weekends, and I want to spend time with my family.
Exactly.
So it's like finding a balance. And then, you are constantly being pulled to do different things for your school or your district. And again, they're doing what they think is best. So you don't, so you go and do with them what they think is best, and you think, it's just a lot of juggling. It's a lot of, I think it's just burnout as a whole, and sometimes it's also lack of resources.
Right.
We don't get the things that we need. They try,
Right.
but even still, it's just lack of resources. But I more struggle, and I see others and coming into the profession more struggle with student behavior and burnout. Just the pull between,
Right.
do I want to be a mom,
Right.
be family, or do I want to teach and grade papers and stuff? It's
Thin
finding that
line in
balance.
that balance, right?
Very, very thin.
Okay.
And it's hard.
You'd like to have a weekend off every once in a while,
I
wouldn't you?
do. I made a pact that I wasn't going to grade papers this year at home, and I've tried. But you just, like I said, if you don't, it doesn't get done.
Right.
And I don't get paid for that necessarily, and that's really not what it's about. But I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
tired.
I understand.
That's the hardest part to me. That's a big struggle with teachers, and it's not just me talking. It's
Right.
We've talked about it as a whole, as across the board. So.
Okay. Now, what do you do to encourage a student that you think might be interested in going into teaching? Now, I know this right here
That's right.
is probably one of the things that keeps you teaching when there's
Absolutely.
times that you want to give it up, and then you see one of your students, well, that especially when they want to be like Miss Fawcett and be a teacher.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that, because I have a student right now that graduated from Comer 3 years ago, and she's going to Troy, and I love her, and she wants to be a teacher. And she does credit, me, because we had such a good relationship, and that's it.
Right.
That's the relationships.
Yes.
It's the love. It's the that. She came to me and she was like, should I? Because she was doing something else.
Right.
And she was like, should I go into teaching? And I told her, I said, yes, because it's worth it.
Right.
You're worth it.
Right. Well, there's just like you're talking about the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure parents and grandparents don't want to see their child or grandchild go through those struggles.
Yes, sir.
But it's people like you that they see that they can get through those struggles. So
I try to mentor the kids, you know, and I try to help them because it's not just about,
right,
you know, English and literature and Shakespeare and all the things, you know. I try to guide them and help them to see. And when it comes to, you know, the girl coming, you know, them wanting to be teachers, I'm like, you know, it's worth it.
Yes.
It really is, because I love my job.
I know you do.
I do. I don't love the paperwork, and I don't, you know, I wish I could do it, but that's not possible. But I love my kids.
Right.
And that's what keeps me going
That's
back
what keeps you there.
every year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, sir.
now, last question I got for you.
Okay.
And I know you don't like to talk about this,
No.
but I think it's very important. What does it mean to you to be named the Teacher of the Year for the B.B. Comer Tigers?
I am blessed. You know, I think that it, again, like I said earlier, it's come full circle.
Yeah.
To get that honor at the school that I graduated from. Very humbling, you know, to think that my coworkers and peers think that, you know, I'm that good, I guess, you know, or that worthy, you know, and that they see the work that I put in and the relationships that I build and the things that I do, you know. And again, if I never got an award, it's not a big. I'm going to keep doing what I do because you know, Coach and I are a team. We work together, and in spite of any awards we get or you know, anything, it's an honor and it's a privilege, and I'm grateful and thankful, you know, because I wouldn't have this platform, I wouldn't have, you know, but outside of that, you know, I'm gonna keep, you know, doing and.
Right.
Now I do have 8 years till I retire, so I'll be doing something else, but.
Right.
But even still, you know, it is an honor to be Teacher of the Year at the school that I graduated
you know,
from.
Football games, the basketball games, the baseball games, and anything else I have, you know, the number one person I see standing up and clapping their hands, you.
Me.
That's right. That's right. You love your school, don't you?
I do. I really do.
Yes, and you got a lot of backing, and you know, you're talking about you appreciate your peers seeing the good job that you do, but that comes from the students letting your peers know who their favorite teacher is.
You know, and I show up.
Right.
You know, and everybody says, "Well, you have kids." I showed up before I had the kids in the game.
Right.
I was there, and that's what the kids want. You know, that's how you build the relationships, and that's how they know you love them, and that's how. And I do. You know.
I know you do.
I love my kids.
Well, congratulations
Thank you
on
so much.
Teacher of the Year, and not just that, but being there for the kids, being there for the other. I'm sure you have just as many teachers that comes and gets advice as kids do, right?
Sometimes, yes,
Right,
sir. I do.
Well, thank you for doing all you do.
I appreciate it.
And thank you for taking care of Coach Fawcett.
It's a tough task,
I know it
but
is.
I'll keep doing it.
Right. We love the Comer Nation.
Thank you.
And all things y'all got coming up to, we just, I like Sylacauga and I like Comer.
That's okay too.
Yeah, that's
we
okay
can like
too.
Both.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
We
not
can pull for
rivals
both.
anymore, so let's join together
join
and root for
together.
each other.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, and
welcome.
congratulations on Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
And tell your parents I said hello.
I
and
will.
Coach Fawcett's
I will,
parents.
most definitely.
And y'all keep doing the job y'all doing.
Thank
and,
you. We will.
Go Tigers.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning to Randy's Corner. And we'll continue with break here in a few minutes, and we'll see you next time.